4 hours in a Taliban headquarters.
I had dog meat in Laos.
Was it golden retriever?
Smack a dirty old smooch on our beautiful fish right here.
He didn't die, but he fell down the side of the mountain.
Hello and welcome to Two Beers Till Takeoff NFL Playoff Primer. My name is Phil and today we are here to analyze some American football games with two Canadians and a British guy. So bet the fucking house on these picks. Welcome to the show, Sid and Matt.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I'm worried about the betting portion of this already.
What's going on, boys?
Yeah, good. Just drinking a couple beers, getting ready.
I think we got to talk about the man of the hour, Aaron Rodgers and Pat McAfee.
Dude, I said to you before we started this, I love Aaron Rodgers. So whatever he says, I'm going to just take it at face value. If he says Jimmy Kimmel's a pedo, Jimmy Kimmel's a pedo. It's as simple as that.
Yes. So for those who didn't hear what happened, Aaron Rodgers went on the Pat McAfee show, which is a sports show, and basically said that Jimmy Kimmel was a pedophile and was on Epstein Island. Since then, he's had another interview on the show and said, kind of backpedal a little bit. And I think they've been feuding a little bit since COVID, but yeah, interesting times. Matt, did you hear about this?
I didn't. That's the first I'm hearing of it, actually. That's really funny.
Yeah. Anyways, there was some tweeting. There was some tweeting and some comments and shit. But I don't think anything will come out of it. I think it was just he's just in the news for the moment.
And that's hilarious in reality. How much do you trust a guy that goes and sits in a hut for 7 days? And
a lot, because it's the same thing me and Phil do.
Just minus the kid.
Well, yeah, there you go.
I'm still waiting for my MVP award, but it's coming.
All right, guys. So in this episode, we're going to go over every single matchup this week. We're going to give important details like key injuries, weather notes, and give you some of our best bets. And finally, we're going to leave you with our Super Bowl picks. So it's the same rules as the World Cup if you watch that episode. If one of our teams wins, the other two have to chug a beer. Because we'll be picking 4 teams each, and there's 14 teams, 2 teams will remain. And if one of those 2 teams win, we all have to chug. What are your thoughts?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Well, I'm just thinking I'm actually in a chug debt from the quiz because I had dengue fever, and maybe I should resolve that now.
Yeah, maybe keep it for the end of the episode.
If you say so. I've got my jug ready anyway, so we'll do that later then, I guess.
Okay, perfect. So let's get to the first matchup. So the first matchup is the Cleveland Browns versus the Houston Texans. This is basically the Deshaun Watson Bowl. The line is -2.5 for the Browns, and the over-under is 44.5. No weather notes because this game is in a dome. These two teams, interestingly enough, have met in Week 16, and the Browns spanked the Texans 36-22. Major injury notes. I think we all know that Tank Dell is not playing for the Texans, and half the squad of the Browns is injured. And right now they're all playing on the third string, but I mean, it seems to be working. You've got 38-year-old Papa Joe Flacco is in, and he's looking as good as ever. Matt, do you think that the Browns can win this game and set up an epic matchup next week versus the Ravens?
Absolutely. You have Joe Flacco, who is the ageless wonder, coming back off sitting on his ass on a couch and ready to absolutely rock it. And not only that, he just bet on himself hard because they're like, oh, you're going to pay me for winning? Watch this shit happen. It's going down. He's going to crush it. He's throwing for at least 250. And Cooper and Njoku are going to love it. Anything to do with them, take it on yardage. For sure.
Sid, what do you think, bud?
I'm still confused how there's no weather in a dome.
I think that's someone pissing on you and calling it rain, man.
No, I've got the Texans in this. I like CJ Stroud. I think the kid's on a run, and I think it's going to keep going. So
that's an interesting pick. I think CJ Stroud was a little bit disrespected at the draft by, for a long time everybody was saying he's going number 1, and then a lot of negative talk was about his, what was between the ears. He was maybe not as consistent, and maybe that some of the talent around him at college was really what was bringing him success in college, and that it wouldn't translate to the next level. But I think we've seen a guy with a chip on his shoulder. I think we've seen a guy with Tank Dell, with Will Anderson that was drafted also in the first round this year, and Nico Collins blowing up this year. I really would like the Texans to win, but I think that the difference between the two is that the Browns defense is real. Myles Garrett is a difference maker, and I think the Browns win. I think it will be not close, unfortunately, but I think it will go over the 44.5.
Absolutely.
But Sid, I don't hate the pick.
The only thing that slightly makes me want to go the other way is that fat comedian. I think he's Greek. His name's like Stavros. You know his name. What's his name?
Helikias or something?
Yeah, something like that. He was saying because he's a Baltimore fan, and he was like, "Dude, I love Joe Flacco. That man could play till he's 53. He'd still be throwing spirals."
And they're
behind the best O-line in the league.
Yeah. I just would love. I think it's the possibility of a matchup versus the Ravens next week would just be. I think it's just too good. I think the script has to include that because it's just too good.
It's the storybook everybody wants to hear. It's Joe Flacco going home and crushing it twice in a row.
Yeah. That one's going to be really good. I think it's a good game to start the playoff matchups. Second, we have the Dolphins versus the Chiefs. So the first game we had the Deshaun Watson Bowl. This year, the Tyreek Bowl. Line is -4.5 for the Chiefs, and the over/under is 44.5 again. The Chiefs-Dolphins have played back in Week 9. The Chiefs won 21-14. Fuck the kickers in that game. Am I right? Major injury alerts for that for the Dolphins are that Bradley Chubb tore his ACL recently, and the Dolphins might possibly not have Raheem Mostert. Sid, do you think that Mahomes can return to his usual playoff form and help lead the Kansas City Taylor Swifts to victory?
I was just going to say fuck the Chiefs, to be honest. Like, behind the Raiders, that's my second least favorite franchise. Like, primarily fuck the Raiders, but after that, fuck the Chiefs. All this stuff with Taylor Swift is it's so 2024, isn't it? Or 2023, or whatever year it is. Why are they concentrating on the crowd more than the football every time they're on? It does my head in. So I really hope they lose. They're not gonna, but I really hope they lose.
Yeah. And I mean, ultimately, key factor is Taylor Swift going to the game.
Well, I don't know. Do they win when she goes, or do they lose when she goes?
I mean, they've been winning initially when she was going, but after that, it's they've mixed in some losses. What do you think, Matt?
You know what? It brought a full different personnel to watching football, and you've seen all the cute TikToks with the youngsters just going, oh yeah, Taylor Swift's my favorite player. And you know what? Yeah, it was cute then, but let's be honest, it's football playoffs. So I don't give a shit if you're watching the commercials. I don't give a shit if you're watching some celebrities. Hell, like, if you're a true football player, you don't know what half the celebrities are anyways. So I don't give a shit if she's there or not. I do think, though, that Kelsey and Mahomes, they're a bromance, and they always have been. And, Chris Jones has been lighting it up this year, so, they got some defense. Yeah, it's not perfect, sure, but it's the Chiefs. He somehow pulls out this magical fucking butterfly out of his ass every year and just lights it up. So, the Dolphins got too many holes. Yeah, you got Tyreek, and Tyreek's probably going to go off because it's Tyreek. But,
yeah,
I'd go Mahomes on this one.
The Dolphins have lost to everybody good as well, right?
That's exactly correct. They've only beat teams that are not in the playoff, basically.
Which is not good when you're in the playoffs.
Right, like you want to spank Russell Wilson and a washed-up coach, then yeah, no problem.
No, they got beat by the Raiders in Aidan O'Connell. So I mean, that's yeesh. And I think it's undeniable that Travis Kelce has definitely taken a step back this year. I don't know if it's with a lot more of the media, the traveling that he's been doing to meet up with his girlfriend, or the age, because I mean, ultimately the guy is 35 now.
Well, also, if you have sex before a game, it does make your performance a lot worse. Like, that's proven.
According to Mike Tyson, right?
Yeah, and the Brazil 2002 World Cup squad, none of them were allowed to have sex the night before games, and they won.
Oh shit!
So,
Did they monitor that? You think?
yeah, the coach was there watching all 23 of them at the same time.
Okay, interesting. So
It's gonna be cold, right? As
it
well,
should be.
It's gonna
It
be
should
cold.
be. Yeah.
which I think is another reason to back the Chiefs.
Yeah. So I think the Chiefs, it's like I said, it's undeniable the Chiefs have taken a step back offensively. They have lost some weapons. Kelsey's taken it, he's a bit older, but the difference is that their defense has really, really stepped up. Trent Duffy, L'Jarius Sneed, Chris Jones, like the guys are. I think you have to focus on Tyreek and just see what Tua can do with the rest, right? So I think I'm going KC on this one, as much as I don't like it.
The Dolphins are a fugazi, or however you pronounce that word. It's the Chiefs have got this.
The fucking Dolphins are fugazi.
Fugazi. Even though, Tyreek Hill may not be having sex anymore, with the 3 baby mamas that he's knocked up this year, but, not his wife. But, come on, like, you cut him down, Chiefs are going to win this.
Yeah. And also, X Factor maybe in the game. I initially said Taylor Swift, but I think it's also that the Chiefs have the loudest stadium. Being at home is a big asset, right? So that might be the thing that makes them just that much better. All right, so let's get to the games on Sunday. So Steelers versus the Buffalo Bills at a steep -10 for the Bills at an over-under of 38.5. So weather in this game, contrary to all the other games, is going to be a huge factor. We're looking at 25 miles per hour winds with 50 miles per hour gusts during the game and rain. Big injury that just happened last week was that TJ Watt sprained or tore his MCL. I forget which one of the two it is, but he will not be playing in this game. Both teams are coming in hot, having won their last, I think, 3 or 4 games. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here. Matt, what do you think happens versus Steelers versus the Bills?
See, I'd love to see an upset. I think that would be friggin' hilarious. And you know what? Steelers D with Mike Tomlin has always been their backbone. Yeah, they're a running team too, and yet you have this Wall and Warren, but Harris has somehow took his career that was fast down the shitter and seemed to have somehow left a floater this year because he's still there and he's doing all right. So Pickett can't hit the broadside of a burn, but guess what? Nor can Allen. So, I think it's going to be a pretty shit for throwing and catching here, but the boys are going to run in the snow, and let's see some running around. Probably going to be the under.
Matt, do you know who's playing quarterback?
Oh, shit, it's Trubisky, isn't it?
Is it? I don't even know. I
Oh,
just
no,
thought of
it's
that.
the young fella, Mason Rudolph. Is that who's been leading them?
think. Let me just see here. Quarterback, passing yards. Yeah, it's Mason Rudolph,
Guys,
and his
like,
over/under for yards is 161.
if we're taking an upset of the week, it's man, let's go fucking Steelers. Screw it. Like,
Oh,
This sounds like a game we shouldn't bother watching from what you've said so far.
yeah, I think it's going to be a dusty game, but
quite
we'll see.
like if you're a Bills fan and you like to be cold and drunk in the snow, it's going to be a fun one to watch. But for everybody else, probably not.
Can the Steelers defend the run?
Yeah, they lost their best defensive player though. That's the only difference. He was more of an edge rusher, but I mean, yeah, no, they have a decent defense.
Because, yeah, I mean, I was thinking like if they can't, then I'm definitely going to back the Bills if it's going to be a running game. But if they can, then maybe it's going to be closer than I expected.
Who you calling for this game?
I think I'm going to stick with the Bills. I haven't got the cojones to go with the upset here because I literally don't know anything about the Steelers except their coach has a winning record every season since Jesus was still around.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin is somebody to bet on.
But that doesn't necessarily carry through to the playoffs, does it? So,
That's true. They
and I
haven't won
picked the
Super
Bills
Bowl,
at the
so
beginning of the season when we did our preseason bets. So I'm going to keep rolling with the boys.
you're going to jump through that table and call the Bills?
I'm going to jump for the Go Bills!
Bills off!
Bills more.
Yeah, sorry, I said the Steelers didn't win. They haven't won in a while. So I'm calling the Bills too. I'm a Patriots fan, but I recognize a team that's. I think they were. Josh Allen is a guy who loves to throw the ball. He loves to run the ball as well. Him personally, but I think they've found that second component to the offense a bit more dynamic with James Cook running the ball a little bit more in the last few weeks here, and that seemed to have been translating to wins this year. So I'm going Bills, as much as I think it will be a close game. More on that in the betting section though. So
Yeah.
Next game we have the Packers versus the Cowboys, -7.5 for the Cowboys, and an over/under of 50.5, looking like a lot more of a game that the bettors or Vegas thinks that's going to be a lot more points. Few questionable players on both sides, so something to monitor. But I think that there's not many injuries. Dallas plays in a dome, so guys, I think I have to open with this question. Is this the year the Cowboys go all the way?
No.
I have no faith because 3/4 of America loves the Cowboys for some reason, and you know what? I love Dak in fantasy because you know what? He puts up points. CeeDee Lamb's a boss, but they
Yeah.
love to choke. So I don't know. I think I'd like to see at least them win one a game, right? Really get the Texans fans like burning the city and shit before they lose, right? Ultimately.
Yeah, it's been since the 90s they haven't won, right? So
Like they haven't won a playoff game, or
no, they haven't won like a championship.
yeah,
They
Sid, what do
already
you think?
do.
that doesn't work in sports, does it? Yeah, they are due. Sounds like betting logic that never comes through. Yeah, I'm due. I'll keep going.
Well, I mean, speaking of did you know that there's 12 teams in the NFL that have never won a Super Bowl out of 32?
That's bad.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that
Yeah.
either.
So you got like I won't name them all, but like the Jags, the Panthers, the Bills, the Vikings, the Lions,
The Titans.
the Titans, the Browns.
I guess I'm sort of not surprised with some of them though.
But yeah,
No. I always feel like the Titans are the least relevant team in the
the
NFL.
Chargers.
Like speaking of the Titans, Mike Vrabel gone. I know playoff game and all, but like,
Could see him
what
in New
are you
England.
doing? Like, you know that the team he coach that brings you to 4 playoff rounds, and then Trubisky just sucks. So it's not his
Oh,
fault they can't
Trubisky's
win.
not on that team.
Jesus, Tannehill.
Tannehill, yeah.
I was gonna say two
Wrong
awful
white
teams, they
quarterback.
go together.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's some people that are saying that. So they honored him this year in the Patriots Hall of Fame. They gave him the red jacket, and rumor is that the Patriots might have an opening at coaching as coach. So they're saying that Mike Vrabel could come back in some capacity if that's the case.
His
Interesting, though.
offensive coach behind old man Belichick, or what?
Well, I mean, Vrabel was a defensive player. At the end of the day, though, I think you see him as, is he a continuation of what Belichick was? So ultimately, do you want a guy who's not exactly portraying, but kind of the basis of what Belichick was? Or do you want kind of Belichick instead of a guy impersonating him a little bit,
Right? Same but different, actually, the same? Or is he going to be another, hey, you're a Pats fan, you tell me, ever since Brady decided to leave as the offensive coach, the offensive arm, and the offensive anything related to the Pats? Sort of proves that it doesn't matter who the coach was.
He's just ribbing your team right now, isn't he? That must hurt.
Hey, that's true, though. They can run the damn ball,
Yeah.
and they're the best defense, arguably, with the shittiest offense. So, what do you do?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Anyway, I'm taking the Cowboys.
You're taking the Cowboys. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, I think they go out in the next round because I don't trust them, but I think they beat the Cheeseheads.
Matt, what do you
Which is a
think?
terrible nickname if we were taking votes.
You know what? That's the least of Wisconsin's worries. In all reality, honestly, the Cowboys can't lose this. Like Jordan Love is, you know what? He seems absolutely brilliant in some games, and then you just watch him, and you're like, man, are you going to be another Wilson off the Jets? Like, what's happening here? But they've pulled out some big wins this year. I doubt they're going to do it against the Cowboys. Jesus, I hope not. Like, how can you pay that many players that much money and lose to Green Bay? Let's hope not. I'll go Cowboys.
All right, guys. So I'm flip flopping on this one because you look at the Packers organization. They had Aaron Rodgers, and in the first round, they decided to go and pick up a guy called Jordan Love. Jordan Love, he's had an up and down season fantasy wise. I think he's in the top 5 or top 10 of how in terms of quarterback points. Doesn't necessarily translate to how he's been doing, but I think they're young. The Dallas defense is one of the best in the league. As much as I want to be the upset pick here with the Packers, I just can't. I think you got to go Cowboys too. So Cowboys all the way around.
Sweet.
Let's go to the next game. So next game we have the LA Rams visiting the Detroit Lions with Lions at a -3 with a 51.5 over under. And this is the Stafford Goff trade bowl. I mean, this is just too good, guys. So this game's in a dome, and I think the main key injury of the game is safety blanket Sam Laporta, the tight end for the Lions, I think he's very questionable right now for this game. No official word on if he's playing or not, but from what I understand is he's doubtful.
Fine.
Who do we think takes that one, boys?
Sid, go ahead, man.
Well, I'll start with my zero knowledge on this one. I thought Stafford was still playing for the Lions until I Googled it this morning when you told me we were doing this. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to take the Lions because I said to you, I think everybody at home is going to win. And I don't know, I don't have any reason to back the Rams. Did I have that guy who we bet on some weeks to score a touchdown? What's his name? Cooper Kupp.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, I like that guy, but that's the only guy I know on the team. So is that enough to beat the Lions, who are, a lion's an intimidating animal when you think about it. So realistically, you've got to take them at home. Like in the savannah, they're going to fucking dominate.
Very well could. Matt, what do you think?
You know what? The Lions started off this year looking like the team that finally is doing something right. Like Dan Campbell is that blue-collar coach. He's that man that, you just want to root for. Doesn't matter who he's playing on, right? And Laporta comes out of nowhere. That's I didn't hear that, but that's shit if he can't make it, because you know what? I would love to see him first draft coming in and absolutely wallop. It's gonna be a great throw down because Sid, they picked up this kid Puka Nakua on the Rams. This kid's putting up unbelievable numbers, and it's all through the air. So he's just a Cup 2.0, maybe like a 1.8 because he's not really, exactly the same, but he's doing pretty freaking awesome. And
broke the record for yards as a rookie.
Right? This kid is just now. Cup was gone, and Stafford's a boss, right? Like, he's going to hit just a pinhole in a Chinese sweatshop. Like, just hitting absolute dimes everywhere. And, the Lions really suck against stopping anybody throwing the damn ball. So it's definitely going to be high scoring. I think this one is going to be super close. I'd love to see the Lions move on, though. That would be just... But Stafford's a god. Who knows? I like the Lions. But it's going to be close.
You've done a really good job of convincing me that I'm wrong.
Sid's a fucking contrarian.
See, that's what I do. I'm a born salesman, right? I can pitch it both ways. Let's juggle.
Yeah, I share the sentiment you had about the Lions. You know, they started hot, and I looked at their schedule. They also pretty much remained hot the rest of the year. They beat the teams that they probably shouldn't. You know, they lost recently or a few weeks ago to the Cowboys, you know, but it was in a very controversial way. They tried to go for the win instead of going for the extra point in time and go to overtime. They went for the 2 points, and then one of their left tackles caught the ball, but it was the wrong guy who declared allegedly from the refs. But anyways, we can see the right guy going to the ref and talking to him. Long story short, it was a bit of a crapshoot. I think the Lions should have won that game.
Arguably.
I think, you know what? I think the rant. Have you guys ever heard the term "hungry dog runs faster"?
Yeah, because you say it every week when we organise the bets.
Hungry dog runs faster. I think the Lions are. So this is the first home game for the Lions ever in their franchise, like the first home game. I think the pressure for them is through the roof. Okay, I think the Rams. They had. I think they're destined to win this game. I'm taking the Rams because I think that the Detroit Lions defense is suspect. They've lost some key players. They lost Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I think that's his last name.
Yeah, something like that, right?
Their safety. He was kind of the attitude guy. He was the guy with, you know, he shows up with the he had like a mask on. I forget. He had a mask on. He was trying to be that kind of leader in the defense room, but I he's injured.
How does wearing a mask make you a leader?
I don't know. It's like a ski mask. It was hilarious.
It's like Batman.
I don't understand it, but I just saw it and I thought he's like, yeah, he's the leader. No, not to say that they don't have a good defense, but listen, boys. It's Rams. It's Rams. It's Rams. It's Rams.
And you're gonna see him just, look down, look up. I mean, I picked the Cowboys, right? Like, or try to save face Lions. Shit, I got excited. I had throwing glasses too, but I don't know. It'll be close. You never know. I love Stafford. Like, you're probably right.
Ultimately, you look at it. You look at the resume, right? The Rams have been here before. They've won a Super Bowl. They have maybe their defense, has taken some hits, but offensively, they have arguably one of the better offenses they've had in a while. Right, the Kyron Williams, the Puka Nakuas, like they've really rebuilt that offense just in one draft, and so I think they can do it.
I'm sticking with the Lions. I refuse to go against my own free will.
We'll stick with Lions. It's just going to be a good game. That's the one you got to watch.
Yep, it's going to be a great one. Looking forward to it. So let's go to the Monday Nighter. So the slumping Eagles at -3 visit the Tampa Bay Bucks in Tampa. Over under is 43, and weather's not meant to be a factor. So the Eagles and Bucks played back in week 3, and the Eagles took that one 25-11. Injury-wise, we saw the Eagles suffer some massive injuries with A.J. Brown. Currently, he is quote-unquote hopeful to play, and Jalen Hurts, his throwing hand, one of his fingers got dislocated in the last game. We all saw that. That was pretty fucking gruesome.
Yeah, that picture was gnarly.
Right.
Yeah, so their two best offensive players hurt. Matt, how much do you think this will impact the game?
Hold on. I'm choking. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, Jason Kelsey has been, a phenomenal offensive lineman, that center tackle that every team dreams of. He's plastered all over the place now, and welcome to being Taylor Swift's brother-in-law, whatever this equals out to, right? But
we don't have to do more Taylor Swift stuff, do we?
Like, literally, Philly has just gone downhill so quickly. I think they're done. I think they just want to press restart to this season. I think, there's AJ Brown is getting shit on now because of what? Like he's just done everything for this team, and I don't know. I don't have faith in their defense whatsoever. Truth. If you look at the fantasy and follow any of that, they were the first worst ranked receiving yards against for like 6 games in, and they ended up being like third worst. Like I don't know. Baker Mayfield has somehow, some way been one of the best QBs this year. I'm saying that right? It's Baker Mayfield. The
He's on a 1-year deal.
right? Everybody dreamed this kid is just going to, be another first overall bust. Yet he looks good in Tampa. Tom Brady, anybody? No, obviously not. But yeah, you've got Mike Evans, and Mike Evans is awesome. I think it'll be a hell of a lot closer than week 3. This probably is the game that is the actual matchup that people are going to take the upset. I love the upset here. I think Philly's overrated. I love Tampa. Let's go.
I don't know if anybody's checked the odds, but is it even that big of an upset?
It's I think it's -3.
Because when I was looking at these earlier, we've gathered that I don't really know anything about what we're talking about, but I originally thought the Bucks might be favorites for this.
Well, it is at home, right? So I think that's where you lose some of that's why it's 3 points.
Well, and also because generally in sports, like in knockout competitions, momentum is really important, which is why I like the Bills.
Yeah.
Even more than I did at the beginning of the season. And it's exactly why I don't like the Eagles and why I laugh at you for picking the Eagles at the beginning of the season. Because I think with no momentum, I think they're destined to lose this.
Yeah, I think their secondary's gotten some injuries this year, so it's definitely contributed to the state of what they're at in right now.
Dude, and I mean, not to just keep taking the piss at how bad your preseason predictions were, but talking about quarterbacks that are questionable, yeah, we can look at Joe Burrows for the Bengals. Because you took the Bengals. Burrows was hurt at the start of the season, and he was awful. If Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball properly, the Eagles don't have a chance.
Dude, I mean, that's context. I mean, it's the beginning of the year. The Joe Burrow just came off a Super Bowl. He's got arguably the best receivers in the league. You look at the Eagles, they have the best O-line, the best D-line, the best defense. Quarterback is pushing everybody. They're rolling.
I used it as an example because it backs up my point. The fact that I got to take the piss out of you was just bonus.
Matt, who do you think takes this one, Tampa or Philly?
I love Tampa in this. I think everything that you both said is perfectly hits it on, but you take away their best guy who can catch the ball. Arguably Smith is a fantastic wide receiver in his own accord, but if Hurts can't grip the ball, you ain't throwing the ball. And I don't know about you guys, but I've dislocated my finger, and good luck. It still friggin' hurts the next day, and it's gonna hurt a week later. And you know what? It comes out.
Did you inject it with Toradol though?
Fair enough. I don't have this miracle grow that these football players seem to be having that could heal an Achilles in 7 months or something, right? Like hashtag live in a hut. But I like Tampa here, right? It's why not? Rashad White has been doing unbelievable as the only back, as he just runs Leonard Fournette out of town. Get out of here, you big fuck. Because
Fournette's on the team.
It's Tampa. They're supposed to suck. Tom Brady leaves, and Baker's here. I love it. Let's go. Let's watch Philly just implode. And watch Baker rise from the ashes as Tom Brady's underling. Let's go.
I think the Eagles do implode, but it's not this week. I think the Eagles beat the Bucks. The Eagles, they've been together for a long time. Or for longer, I guess, than the Tampa group, right? You take kind of the team that they had and you just throw in Baker instead of Tom Brady. I just think that the Eagles will find a way. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but if AJ Brown doesn't play, I might be eating my words. if he does play, I think they're going to be fine. They have enough target. They have enough weapons. They have Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is an early first round draft pick. They have Dallas Goedert. Their running attack is really good. I understand that Tampa's front is very good, but ultimately, I think the Eagles' D line is the X factor in this game.
The Eagles been together for a long time, since like 1974 Hotel California, right? Welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place.
Such a lovely place.
Such a
I love it. Like, you know what? It's possible, right? Like, you always love that, fairy book tale. They got, screwed over by the Chiefs last year. It could be the fairy tale story this year, right? The team that starts off hot, that starts absolutely plummeting, that pulls it all out in the end. I don't like fairy tales, but hey, could happen.
Yeah.
I've got the Bucks to clarify.
Yeah, so we got Bucks for Sid, we got Bucks for Matt, and we got Eagles. EAGLE, Eagles fly for Phil. Right on. So let's move on to the next segment, which is our best bets. So Sid, as the foreigner, I guess the most foreigner.
The
most foreigner.
Like on a scale, yeah.
Like we're still foreigners, but like we're less foreign than you, I guess, to the US. So do you want to start us off with your best bet so people can bet the house on?
It cuts me deep you boys don't have a franchise.
What?
It cuts me deep you boys don't have a franchise. Like we're the Fredericton Frenzies or the Moncton Mad Dogs or something like that. Those guys would be awesome.
Yeah.
Right. A couple of points we touched on earlier. I'm going to do 4 and I'll whiz through them quickly, okay?
Sure.
Browns Texans over 49.5 points is 2.6. This happened last time they played. And as we said, that we expect points in this game.
36-22 last time.
So there you go. Happened last time. Josh Allen to get the last touchdown is 5.5. He turns over the ball loads. I believe the second most in the league.
Yep.
If the Bills need a touchdown late on, he's going to run the ball.
He could, yeah.
He's not going to throw it because it'll be intercepted. 5.5. It's free money. And then 2 for not for this weekend specifically. For the Super Bowl MVP, Christian McCaffrey is 10.
10 to 1?
10, yeah.
Wow.
And I fancy the 49ers to get there. I mean, I suppose this is something we'll cover as well in a minute. And I know it's unusual that a quarterback doesn't win it, but fuck, the guy does everything. Like, the guy's a monster. If somebody who's not a quarterback is going to win it, it would be him.
Very true.
It's true.
And then I figured we might want an outsider pick for this. And we spoke about CJ Stroud earlier, who was 66, which is interesting. But I actually decided
6 to 1?
66 to 1 if you take CJ Stroud to be the Super Bowl MVP right now. However, I folded and went against my own pick and wrote down Joe Flacco at 36 because I love the story.
Yes.
I love it.
Because if he makes it, he's going to win it.
100%.
Wow.
Like, I do, like, does Flacco even do well against the defense of... Oh, I love the story. San Francisco against Flacco. Chef's kiss.
Wow.
So those are my picks anyway.
I love them. They're spicy. I love them. Matt, I'm gonna go next and give you a second there just to go over your picks. So I've got 2 parlays, and one of them is more around teams and how they're gonna do in terms of spread, and the other one's just kind of player props. So my first bet is the Steelers and Bills game, plus 10 for the Steelers. So like we said in the breakdown is that we're expecting a bit of weather. There's 25 mile per hour wind plus rain plus 50 mile per hour gusts. So if we think back to a game that happened recently, so like if you think about last year, the Patriots and Bills had a similar style game in Buffalo. and the game ended 14-10. It was a heavy rushing game. This is kind of what we're anticipating for the game as well. Trench warfare. Pittsburgh. Interesting fact: the Pittsburgh Steelers have the most run attempts in the past 3 weeks, and I think that the T.J. Watt injury is why the Steelers are at +10. With T.J. Watt, I think it would be much closer. I think we're looking at a +4 or +5. So take the points. Steelers +10. Next game, I'm going Rams +3 in the spread. So I'm going 2 road dogs. So the Rams this year have beat the Browns. They brought the Ravens to OT. They're on a 4-game win streak. Matt Stafford's cooking. Puka Nakua, Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams. Kyron rhymes with Mearden. No, it doesn't really, but if you the way it's spelled,
Love
Matt's
it.
last name.
Love it.
Stafford really wants to win in Detroit. I think they get it done. And I'm taking that, the Rams +3, and I'm making that a same game parlay with a David Montgomery touchdown. This guy, 3 games this year that he hasn't scored a touchdown. His touches have
One of them
gone
we
down.
bet the house on.
His touches have gone down this year, but as soon as this team is close to the end zone, they pound it in with David Montgomery. Jahmyr Gibbs is another factor in the offense, but he is getting his touchdowns typically from a bit further away from the goal line. So I think that Steelers +10, Rams +3, plus David Montgomery touchdown, that's 8 times your money. Guys, that's a fucking bet. And my number 2 pick, not to say that it's any worse or any better than the first pick, but I'm going with David Njoku over 5 receptions. The line is 5.5. He's hit over 6 in his last 6. I think that's the last games that Joe Flacco's played, so I'm playing it safe, losing 20 cents on the dollar, but going with 5 receptions instead of the official line of 5.5, so an alternate line of 5 receptions. I'm going Najee Harris touchdown. So Pittsburgh Steelers, we know that they're going to be in a dogfight. It's going to be trench warfare. They're going to be running the ball as much as possible. I think Najee sneaks it in. He's been getting a touchdown, I think, the last 4 weeks. Sorry.
So
Steve?
if you take the 5, do you get it at 5? That's the difference between that and 5.5. Because we would just do half numbers: 5.5, 4.5, 3.5.
Yes. So the line right now is 5.5 for David Njoku over 5.5 receptions, and I went under that just to be safe.
So the line basically would require 6 to win. Your bet requires 5 to win.
Yes.
Understood. I love it. I'm in.
No, sorry. It would. Yeah. Sorry. It's the same thing. Sorry, my bad. 5.5. I'm fucking retarded.
I'm so confused. How many receptions does my guy need?
Next is Kyron Williams touchdown. This guy has been electric since he's come back. The guy has come back healthy, and he is kicking ass, taking names. CeeDee Lamb touchdown. And that parlay right there, ladies and gentlemen, is 14.72 times your money. So David Njoku over 5.5 receptions. Najee touchdown. Kyron Williams touchdown. CeeDee Lamb touchdown. 14.72 times your money. These guys, if we look at the trends, they're doing really, really well. It's the playoffs, guys. They're going to focus on their studs. Bet this.
I absolutely love 98% of what you just said. I have Njoku down for me too. I love the 6 catches. I get the 5. The 5 is definitely less risky. If you're gonna build a bear bet, I love the 5. It's guaranteed. It's Flacco. It's a no-brainer. And yeah, I love Cooper, but I like Cooper for yards. I still think Flacco's coming out. I think he crushes this game. I love the yardage for that bad boy. I was just actually looking at it and I didn't write it down. But let's see here. Receiving for Cooper, 73.5. Guy's putting up 100 when Flacco's throwing dimes. I think the 5.5 on the catch is a little high. He needs about 3-4 inches maybe to blow out a 20 yards. So, I love the over on that. I don't know if I bet the house, but I like it. I like it a lot. Njoku over 5.5 all day. All day. Let's go for me. You're right. Steelers and Bills, I've already said that could be a big upset. Who knows? That would be disgusting to watch the Bills lose. It's going to be snowy. It's going to be cold. I think it's going to be tight. Take the under on that if you're going to go betting anything. It's a pretty good money line for the Steelers, but way too risky. Love the Najee TD, but it's going to be low scoring. If we're going to bet on some...
And that's 38.5. And if it just adding on to what you said there, the under, if you look at the last game that was similar weather, similar conditions, two teams that kind of, I guess one team that kind of runs the ball before, but it was 14-10, Patriots, Bills. Not that it's going to be the same thing, it's different conditions, it's a different year, but I mean, we can see smaller scores, right? So.
And you know what is, and yeah, you're right, you're not comparing Pats this year, your previous years here, and yeah, Pittsburgh can put up some points. I think everybody and their dog lost their shorts when it was the other week, and they bet, was it the Jets and the Pittsburgh Steelers? What was that, like week 12 or something? Everybody took the under, and 90% of us lost on that. Yeah, your boys included on that bad boy. So, it's not the best and safest bet, but you know what is a safe bet? It's taking any receiver on the Rams against that Lions defense. They're gonna crush it in yardage. I think Cup is 75 or 80. Maybe he's 90 now. Who gives a shit? He's gonna get over 100. Nakua has been doing the same thing. But what I think Goff is gonna fight back. Armand St. Brown is gonna have an unbelievable day. But guys, if you want an easy money, you can take Amran for 50, Nakua for 50, and Cup for 50, and that's 1.9. Throw in a Stafford at 250. On top of that, you're talking 2.4. So, that is a simple parlay to put with any other bet because it's guaranteed money. That is a safe bet.
The house. Bet
So
the house.
I like that personally. If you're going TDs are fun too, right? I love all Montgomery's rushing touchdown.
TDs are always fun.
Big old TDs.
Right? Those are TDs I will play with all day. Well, that's
the joke never
right.
gets old.
Yeah, that's mine for sure. I'd love to see a Mike Evans touchdown too. He's been crushing it all year. If we're gonna throw one out,
I love Mike Evans.
He has.
Can you?
Sorry, I wanted to add Mike Evans. I looked at his last ones. I think I think the last 3 games he has one touchdown.
Yeah, it's because for whatever reason he likes Godwin for a second, and I'm like, okay, get over that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
What was your bet on the Steelers Bills game? Just to
make
sure I understood. Matt, the guy on the podcast, not Stafford.
I don't know if I really had one, to be fair. I just talked a lot about it because I think it's going to be a super low-scoring game.
That's what I thought. I was like, right, this is golden information. Yeah. What's the bet? I was waiting for the punchline.
I think it's the under, right? Like Phil was saying, 38.5.
So what is the under? Oh, go on.
38.5. I think it's 38.5.
But that's all the winner dependent, right? So if it's going to be Sunday for this game, I'd almost wait till Sunday morning when you wake up and see. If it's going to be snowy, it's going to be cold. But is fucking Rudolph here too? Sorry for swearing, but Jesus, he's coming out of nowhere and he's actually done well. Do we trust in the Steelers? But do you trust in Allen who can't hit anything and somehow, some way Diggs is pissed off and Gabe Davis is awful?
Non-existent,
right? You draft him in fantasy every year and think this is the year, big boy. We got this shit, and you get disappointed every week. It's like a drunk frat boy. You're just getting disappointed every single week.
So
I hate when that happens.
If you don't know this, Gabe Davis is a guy. He's a receiver for the Bills, but if you look at the trends, he'll have a week where he has 0. And then the next week's 36. You're like, whoa, average is maybe 10 points. And you get 0. And then you get 18. You're like, whoa, okay, what's going on? 0. 40. What's going on?
Truly.
So this guy's on and off crazy.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's just it happens when you play things like fantasy, right? There are often guys who have no consistency. They're either on or they're off. And I know from personal experience, I'll always pick them when they're off. So I try to avoid those guys.
As much shit as we thrown at Gabe Davis, he is a big fan of Shane Gillis though. So I have to kind of reserve my hate for him.
Gabe's not a great name though, is it? If you were to evaluate names, Gabe doesn't impress me.
He did Shane Gillis asked him to do a celebration because there was like this little kid. He was like a meme, and he did it for him. It was so funny.
That's awesome. And you know what? I've heard really good stories about Gabe Davis as an individual. And so can't shit on the man for being a phenomenal man, a great father, a great member of the community. Like, the man is unbelievable. But when Allen can't hit a good target on a good day, you're just going to get the ball when you're against shitty defenses, and Diggs gets double teamed. So, yeah, I wouldn't bet on him.
Yeah.
Dude, I think Allen runs them into the ground, though. I think Allen's going to... I think the Bills are going to be fine here.
They could.
I hope so.
They could. The Steelers are just such a fugazi team.
What's the over-under on Allen rushing yards? Can anyone pull that up quickly?
No, he's a receiver.
No, but on Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, he must be like 40 yards, I think, something like that.
Because they'll give you an over-under on rushing yards for a quarterback, won't they?
I'd say about 40, 45 yards.
Let's see. 38.
Because if it's around... over all day.
Well, let's see. I'm curious of this.
Although the thing you have to consider is that if they're not throwing because the conditions are so fucked, do they just hunker down and not like they just like defend the run, nothing else? You know what I mean? So that could be dangerous. But anyways, that could 100% happen. Let's move on, guys, to our Super Bowl picks.
Yes, I love this part.
So this part here, we're going to take turns picking teams, snake draft style, until we have 4 teams each with no duplicates. So if you pick one, Matt can't pick the other.
Do I get the first pick as the lowest ranked individual from the regular season?
No, actually, you get the last pick because...
Fuck is this?
So whatever team wins, the other 2 have to chug a beer. But if that team happens to be one of the teams that we don't pick, because obviously we pick 12 teams, but there's 14 teams that are playoff teams, we all have to chug a beer. Make sense, boys?
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
So me and Sid threw it in the randomizer, and the order goes Phil, Matt, Sid. So then it'll go Sid, Matt, Phil. So I'm going to start, and I'm really pissed to have this position because I really don't know who's going to win the Super Bowl. But if I were to pick, I want to say Ravens, but I'm going 49ers.
I'd like that because you know what? I'll do the exact opposite because I wanted 49ers, so I'll say Ravens.
Right.
Sid,
then I am gonna take the Chiefs because I think, well, at least I personally didn't really give them any credit during this, and I think the fact that I don't like them means they're going to do well. And then I pick again, right? I'm gonna double down on the Bills. I took them at the start. I'll stick with them.
Let's go.
Me now. Well, you know what? See, this is the long bet because if Flacco beats the Texans, Flacco can beat the Ravens, which means Flacco can beat anybody in the AFC, which means fuck it, he's getting this $2 million Super Bowl bonus. Flacco's gonna take it all. You don't need Deshaun Watson. Bring back the ageless wonder. This guy's gonna do it. Let's go Browns.
I love that pick, but I hate that pick because they're going to play against the Ravens in the next round.
Well, hey, I picked the Ravens first, so, you know, hedge and bets.
Okay. We got Houston, Cleveland. We've got, okay. I'm going to go, my next pick, I'm going to go, I think it's a team from the NFC this year, boys. I'm going Dallas. And next team, I'm going the Rams. And it's really fucked up. I haven't picked an AFC team, but I'm going Dallas, and then the Rams.
Dallas and Rams. Well, that leaves us with really very few. Like, there's, I'm not picking the Texans. I refuse. Dolphins are gonna just lose because that's what they do. You know what? If we're going for just the best of what's left, you guys loved it. I love Stafford too. He could easily do it if he puts up against the Lions. Let's go. I'll go Stafford and the Rams.
I just picked the Rams.
You already picked the Rams? Well then,
Yeah, I just
That's
shit.
what I
Then
thought,
literally,
yeah.
I was listening. Let's go to Lions then. Forget. Well, screw Stafford, right? I didn't mean that. I'll just take all that stuff back.
Yeah, fuck Stafford.
Right?
Yeah, that guy who's good. No, fuck him.
Exactly.
The
Right?
opponent.
Let's flip. Let's go to Lions.
Right, so I've got 2 picks, and then that's my 4, right?
Yeah, you've got 2 picks, and then you're done.
Right. I haven't actually won our preseason bet, despite the fact that the Bengals suck. So I'm going to take the Eagles just as insurance, meaning that I can't lose both.
I fucking love your
and
pick,
then
kid.
So what do we got left? We got Tampa. We got
Right. Remaining, you've got the Dolphins, the Texans, the Bucks,
Steelers.
Packers, and the Steelers.
this is yours.
Yeah, I ragged hard on the Dolphins. I think they're going out because they didn't win the division, so I'm not going to back them. I said the Bucks are going through, so I'm taking the Bucks. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The Bucks and the Eagles. That's pretty.
That's bold.
Matt,
That's one team in the next round at least. It means I can't lose in the first round. I didn't get a seeded team.
You're gonna
so
watch the Monday night game and just be like, yes, yes.
every play.
So
Matt, what are you
Sorry,
saying?
not I didn't get a seeded team. I didn't get a team with a bye, is what I meant. So I had to get myself through. Anyway,
the Ravens, the Browns, the Lions. If I'm right, there's the Packers, the Texans, the Steelers, the Dolphins, I think that's what's left.
So we're talking about straight up underdogs trying to take this now. And you know what? Miami probably has the biggest firepower of all of them. But if we're gonna go big ol' underdog stories here, I really don't think CJ Stroud they're just too young right now, right? Like the awesome team. I hope the best, but not happening. Steelers in the weather, they might fluke out against the Bills, but they're not going to take that. Screw it. I'm lactose intolerant. Let's go take Green Bay Cheeseheads. Why not?
Oh, whoa.
Let's
I don't hate it,
go,
man.
right?
looking at the odds, you must be pleased. You must be pleased you've got the last pick and still ended up with the Dolphins as a possibility.
I mean, I was holding my breath, but Jesus Christ, yeah. I mean, I didn't even take. I wrote your pick and I wrote my pick right after. I'm going Dolphins. Jesus Christ, the fastest offense in the fucking league. Let's go. Let's go. All right, so let's just recap here. So I've got the 49ers, the Dallas Cowboys, the Rams, and the Dolphins. Matt has the Ravens, Browns, Lions, Packers, and Sid has the Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, and Buccaneers. I think those are some good picks, boy.
Mine looks awful on paper.
And then, so I guess the two teams that are our opponents are the Steelers and the Houston Texans.
Dude, I'm rooting for the Texans at this point. CJ Stroud at 66-1 to win the Super Bowl MVP, and it means that everybody has to drink a beer. Like, the listeners should be rooting for the Texans.
Should we all just
That's the neutral choice.
Should we all just throw some monies just so that if we do have to drink a beer that we've won 66-1?
Literally, I'm down. I'm down. Are we doing $1 here? Are we doing a tenner? Because I love this. I think it's a great pick.
I do 10 around that.
Bet the house. I always assumed that was the minimum bet.
Full
Anyway.
house.
But I mean, houses in North America and in Brazil are a little different priced.
Oh, fuck yeah. Ours are less than a tenner. I assumed that was the minimum bet.
Love it. Futures. Let's see.
But yeah, boys, no, that's great, boys. I think this was a good episode. We initially were going to look at doing this every week, but I think that getting these picks right away and just these are our picks for the Super Bowl. These are our prop picks for this week. I might drop a couple picks next week if I'm successful and just feeling hot. Matt, we'll see.
I'll probably be right there
Sid,
with you.
I guess. Hey, listen, if Stroud wins, man, we might have to jump back on. Is Stroud our boy? The guy we're
That's
following?
our-
Oh, I got
wagon.
goosebumps. I don't know about this.
All aboard the wagon, boys.
I don't know. I
CJ,
love that
CJ,
old
CJ.
man, though. That Flacco just gives me chills.
He's
Yeah.
the best CJ in the league since CJ Spiller, so I'm going with him.
CJ from Baywatch? I don't know. She might be better. But anyways, boys, this was great. Let's we'll touch base if we're successful next week, and if not, well, best of luck. And
We'll see you next season.
Yeah, we'll see you next season. See you during the Euros.
See you during the Euros. Right on.